Assalamualaikum Raiden, my name is Auni Binti Muhamad Ridzuan and my matrix number is 2021836444. So today I choose Enron Corporation as my company. So now let's start for background Enron Corporation first, which is Enron Corporation was an American energy commodities and services company based in Houston, Texas. It was founded by Kenneth Lay in 1985 as a merger between Lay's Houston, which is natural gas, and Internorth, both relatively small regional companies. Enron Corporation was one of the world's largest integrated natural gas and electricity companies. It marketed natural gas liquids globally and ran one of the world's largest natural gas transmission systems, totaling more than 36,000 miles. It was also one of the world's largest independent electricity developers and producers, serving both industrial and emerging markets. Enron was also a major global supplier of solar and wind renewable energy, managed the world's largest portfolio of natural gas-related risk management contracts, and was one of the world's largest independent oil and gas exploration companies. Enron was the largest wholesale marketer of natural and electricity in North America. Enron pioneered innovate in trading products such as gas futures and weather futures, modernizing the utilities industry significantly. The company encountered difficulties following a period of rapid growth in the early 1990s. The extent of Enron's losses was concealed from stockholders. The company went bankrupt after a failed merger deal with Dignity in 2001 exposed massive financial sleaze. The company was ranked 7 on the Fortune 500 and its failure was the largest in American history. Enron began as Northern Natural Gas Company, organized in Omaha, Nebraska in 1930 by three other companies, North American Light and Power Company and United Light, and also Railways Company. Each held a 35% stake in the new enterprise, while Lone Star Gas Corporation owned the remaining 30%. The company's founding came just a few months after the stock market crash of 1929, an inauspicious time to launch a new venture. Several aspects of the Great Depression actually worked in Northern's favor. However, consumers initially were not enthusiastic about natural gas as a heating fuel, but its low cost led to its acceptance during those economic times. Enron Corporation, which is U.S. company that in 2001 became the largest bankruptcy and stock collapse in U.S. history up to that time. Enron employed shoddy and deceptive accounting practices to hide its financial losses and occasionally its gain. The techniques of structured finance, complex financial transactions designed to hedge the risk involved in business activities that were used to enrich some of Enron's corporate officers and hide the firm's financial losses. Independent partnerships to which Enron sold assets were created, enabling Enron to convert loans and assets burdened with debt obligation into income. But the contracts with the partnerships contained guarantee and risky buyback conditions that had potentially disastrous consequence for Enron. Enron also booked project long-term income from trading contracts when those contracts were signed, but the income projections were often overly optimistic and inflated. On the surface, the motives and attitudes behind decisions and events leading to Enron's eventual downfall appear simple enough. Individual and collective greed, born in an atmosphere of market euphoria and corporate arrogance. Hardly anyone, the company, its employees, analysts, or individual investors wanted to believe the company was too good to be true. So for a while, hardly anyone did. Many kept on buying the stock, the corporate mantra, and the dream. In the meantime, the company made many high-risk deals, some of which were outside the company's typical asset risk control process. Many went sour in the early months of 2001 as Enron's stock price and debt rating imploded because of loss of investor and creditor trust. Methods the company used to disclose or creatively obscure its complicated financial dealings were erroneous and, in the view of some, downright deceptive. The company's lack of transparency in reporting its financial affairs, followed by financial restatements disclosing billions of dollars of omitted liabilities and losses, contribute to its demise. In February 2001, Lei announced his retirement and named Skilling President and CEO of Enron. In February, Skilling held the company's annual conference with analysts, bragging that the stock, then valued around $8 should be trading at around $126 per share. In March, Enron and Blockbuster announced the cancellation of their video-on-demand deal. Through the spring and summer, risky deals Enron had made in underperforming investment of various kinds began to unravel, causing it to suffer a huge cash shortfall. On August 14, just 6 months after being named CEO, Skilling himself resigned, citing personal reason. The stock price slipped below $40 that weekend, except for a brief recovery in early October after the sale of Portland General continued its slide to below $30 a share. On October 16, Enron announced its first quarterly loss in more than 4 years after taking charges of $1 billion on poorly performing businesses. The company terminated the raptor hedging agreements, which, if they had continued, would have resulted in its issuing 80 million Enron shares to offset the company's private equity losses, severely diluting earnings. And it also disclosed the reversal of the $1.2 billion entry to assets and equities it had made as a result of dealing with these arrangements. Fraud was revealed when the dot-com bubble crisis occurred, where the SEC investigated Enron due to suspicion of financial statement issued by the company. Finally, Kenneth Lei and Jeffrey Skilling were brought before the court and found guilty on charges of defrauding investors. The bankruptcy of Enron on December 2, 2001 spawned an epic scandal, nearly 24 criminal convictions and sweeping government reforms. Enron became an enduring symbol of corporate fraud. Among those defending Enron's legacy are the daughter and son of the company's founder and former chairman, Kenneth Lei. A federal jury convicted Lei in 2006 on 10 felony counts, but because he died of a heart attack 6 weeks later, because he could appeal, his convictions was vacated. So Kenneth Lei missed prison because he died of a heart attack, while Jeffrey Skilling was sentenced to 12 years in prison. The company was declared bankrupt and 28,500 workers lost their jobs.